Hello. I thought I would show you how I made this card front. I was going to stick it onto a card, but I've not done yet because I was thinking it's almost the right size to put into a journal like this one. So I could actually trim it down and pop it into a journal, or I could pop it onto the front of a 6x6 card like this one. So I thought I would show you how I put it together. Okay. So I started off with a square of the stamping card, and I'm going to use this stamp, which is CI 586, the Circle of Latitudes, drawn by our lovely Dora. And I'm going to stamp that in Stays On into the middle of this piece of card. There we go. And next I've stamped the same image onto a post-it note and cut it out. I've used this before, obviously, on the previous example. So I'm just going to position that so it's in the right place and stick it down. Because Stays On dries so quickly, it'll be dry enough under there to cope with this being stuck on the top of it. Okay, and now it's time to get a bit inky. So I'm going to use Distress Oxide ink in Peacock Feathers first. Okay, I've got another sponge here somewhere, and is that no? Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to use a Villainous Potion first, and then I'll find my other sponge in a second. That's the problem with these things. They roll off to places, don't they? So this is Villainous Potion, which is a lovely deep purple colour. So I'm just starting on the edge of the mask and sponging outwards from there. Okay, and I'll do a bit more this corner. There we go. Right. I think I've just spotted where my sponge has rolled to, so here we go. So my peacock feathers in the other two corners now. And you see that as the two colours blend together, you get like a bluier purple in those bits. I'll go over this again, try and make it look a little bit darker. There we go. That's super. Right, so next I'm going to use prize ribbon, and on the original card I used this stencil, but because that's no longer available on the website, I thought I would use this one instead. So this one is a that's Crafty one. And I've used this loads of different cards. I love it. Okay, so I'm using a blending brush for this, and I'm just going in with circular motions over the stencil and then I'm going to move my fingers out of the way, do the bit underneath. There you go, that's one side, and I'll do the other side. I moved it a little bit then. Let's get it back in the right place. That looks about right. There we go. So I've got the stencil in on those two corners, and then I'm going to use a background stamp. I've got this one, which is CI 309, which is a nice music one, which you'll see here. I've got it on an acetate block ready, and I'm going to ink that up with the prize ribbon, Distress Oxide, and I'm going to stamp that in the two corners over the peacock feathers area. There we go. Now besides those, I'm going to use some of the Flo Langley designed stamps. So I'm going to use Mismatch. I'm going to use this one here, these small. So this is CI 542, sorry. So this one. And I'm not going to put it on a block, I'm just going to use that end. I'm going to add some stamping around the edge. Okay, and then besides that, I'm going to use, this is CI 540 Fragmentation, and I'm going to use the smallest of the circles on this, and again, just not on a block, but just inking up a little bit of it and adding a few circles here and there. A few there as well, maybe there we go, and I think that will do for my background. Right, so I'm going to take this off. There you can see a stamped image underneath, and already it looks like you've stamped it out and put it over the top, so it's a way of getting, oops, sorry about that, I didn't mean to wobble you there, way of getting rid of those layers. Okay, so I'm just going to colour the image. I'm using Ecoline pens for this, which are water based, so any watercolour markers would be fine. Yellow one, I think, for the centres. There we go. So if you're using watercolour markers, then Stays On is fine. If you're using alcohol-based markers, then you'd want to use something like Memento ink to stamp your image. Okay. Right, I'm going to start off colouring the flowers. So I'm going to use the darker colours and then blend it through with the pink. Okay. And I'm not worrying too much about this part of the flower. Trying to think what they're called, stamens, at the moment, because I'm going to go over those with another pen. So it doesn't matter really if I colour them with this. With a lot of watercolour markers on this sort of card, if you just do a little bit at a time, like I'm doing here, you can blend the colours together as long as it doesn't dry completely before you've gone over it with another colour. There we go. Right, I'm going to go for this one now. Okay, I think that'll do for the petals, unless I spot one I've not done. I'll go into the middle of that flower and the middle of that flower, and then the leaves. I think I'll do the darker bits first. Yeah, and if your colouring goes a little bit over the edge, it's not the end of the world. You are sort of going for a watercoloured type of effect. So, and I'll show you a trick in the middle in a minute to sort it out as well. Yeah, so if I wasn't doing this for a video, I'd probably take a little bit more care over it, but you don't want to be sat watching me colour in for ages. And I don't think my technical skills are up to fast forwarding this bit. And by using the shaded areas on the stamp, you can get a good idea of what to colour in darker colours and what to colour in paler colours. So there we go. That's not far off now. Right, one colour I didn't get out, which I will do now, is pastel blue. It's here somewhere. There it is. Right, so with the pastel blue, I'm going to create like a shadow around the edge of that flower. And then I'm just going to go round the lines of the like clock face. And around this edge too. There we go. Right, so the last little bit that I'm going to do is just to go in with, this is a, let's have a look, it's a Jelly Roll Moonlight pen, and it's the fluorescent yellow one. And I'm just going to go in and do the pollen on those stamens in there. Okay, and absolutely the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my very fine micron pen . Right, so this is a 0.1, and I've just spotted, I'm going to go down, add these stems on where the ink missed a little bit, and the edge of that bit there. There we go. I think I'm reasonably happy with that now. So there we go. So sorry I couldn't go live earlier, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.